Hi everyone, it's Jaya here from Epicenter Healing. Welcome back to our channel. It's lovely to have you here today, and I'm going to be diving back into the topic of overcoming depression, but this time I feel a calling to do this from a spiritual angle. So let's go for it. So the spiritual angle for depression could be caused by a few different things, and you can explore them for yourself through trial and error of putting these things into your life and seeing if your life has an overall difference, i.e. it improves. So the first thing that I would say is, in a lot of the spiritual literature, we can come to the conclusion that depression could be a result of our thoughts, deeds and actions. So let me explain. If your thoughts are of a predominantly negative state, your deeds, just by default, because you're probably not feeling well, are not as good as they could be to others or to yourself. Your deeds to yourself also count. And your actions are not following suit of what a person that is achieving their greatest in humanity would do. So this is not to condemn anybody. We've all been through a journey where we've had darkness happen, light. We've all been through that. And if we haven't, it will probably come, because in this planet, we go through phases, and it is highly likely that everybody is going to go through the same phase, because as humanity, we are one thread, we are one, which means we're going to go through the same sorts of things and feelings, but at different times. So we're all going to experience good points in our life and bad points in our life. Obviously, this will differ according to where we're born, but that's a whole another video on like Garam and how we come in. I've mentioned that before in other videos, that we come into a new life where we left off on a vibrational level. So you could say we've chosen it, because we should take full responsibility for our actions. Nobody else can take responsibility for the way that we respond to things. So I know these concepts are deeper, but I already know how many of you read, how many of you are interested in developing your spirituality. And I'm sure that already there's some pennies dropping of course, let me work on that to now overcome this depression. Ultimately, we have a duty of care to ourselves to become the best version that we can be for ourselves, not even for anyone else. So let's go over this point again, that our depression could be caused by thoughts, deeds and actions being of a more negative nature than positive. So if this is the case, how do we rectify it? Because I know that the response to this could be, well, I can't control my thoughts. I do agree with that, in the sense that you can't control anything in life. We can't control the weather, we can't control people, and we certainly can't control thoughts. However, what we focus on grows. You'll read about this all over the internet, all over self-development books. So if we take that concept, and if we choose to focus on the good in our life, the things that we are grateful for, the things that we've been given as a blessing, our parents maybe, our house, we've got money from a job, we've got our full capacity of our body, we can walk, we can talk, we can breathe. These are all good things in our life. If we have children, children are a blessing. If you just look at the way the world is at the moment, we are essentially in a planet where people are struggling to have children, and they would love to have children. So if you do have children, it is an absolute blessing from the higher powers. So yes, if we can navigate our thoughts into a more positive nature, if we can do more positive deeds for ourselves in terms of our self-care, our nourishment, our mental development, our emotional regulation. Again, you can research these points on the internet. Emotional regulation is a topic discussed in Buddhism a lot. So there are ways we can self-regulate our emotions, and these are more positive deeds to ourselves. If we can speak words that are of a more positive nature, even if we can hear those thoughts of negativity, if we still choose to override that negativity and speak positive words, then we will be able to reprogram our thoughts to a more positive nature. The spoken word has a lot of power in it. This is also discussed across religious scriptures. If you want to have a look, you can also pop it into the internet about the power of the spoken word and what impact it has on our overall vibrational state. So if we speak more positive words, we are likely to program ourselves into a more positive state. And if we speak negative words, we will program ourselves into negative states. And then that cycle of negative thoughts will increase, and negative behaviors and deeds will start to take place, and negative actions. So I hope that point offers some clarity in how to overcome any depression that you might be experiencing. Ultimately, we're wishing the best for anybody that watches our videos. We want you to be happy, we want you to elevate, and because you deserve to live a happier and truer life just for yourself. You deserve to live at your highest human potential. So the next point I would like to talk about is depression with our personal connections. So often what we found at Epicenter Healing is that if there are struggles with interpersonal relationships, friendships, work colleagues, anything to do with human relationships, if people are not getting on and they're arguing and they're fighting, it causes a sadness. I actually heard one of my family members say this today, and I'm going to include it. She was saying it to the children, and she said, fighting makes everybody sad. So I just want to include that because it's true. Whether a person is right in this argument or not, the fighting between relationships where there's love between the people and care or friendship or romantic relationship, it creates a sadness. So we would strongly encourage you to resolve. If you can resolve with a person, great. If you can't resolve with a person, then if a scenario is making you happy, then it's best to create distance if that's possible. If you are not able to create that distance, it's best to minimize the amount of contact with that person to stop yourself from getting emotionally upset again and again. We can break that emotional upset by doing these things, and the more that we break that emotional upset, the more likely we are to move into a happier state, because we're stopping the depression in its tracks. We're saying to it, stop, we don't want you anymore, you free to go. I am pulling in a higher vibration, a happier vibration. Yeah. And then moving on to point 3. So point 3, I'm sure everyone watching this video has heard of the term karma. Particularly in the Hindu religion, they talk about that everything we experience, be it good or bad, is a result of our own doing, be it thoughts, deeds, or actions. So this is relating back to point 1. But point 1, we were talking about how to change these thoughts, deeds, and actions, and for what purpose: to feel better, to feel good, to elevate the emotion of happiness in the body. But just taking it from another angle, from a karmic standpoint now, an acceptance standpoint, that if we are experiencing a depression, this is not to say it's okay for you to stay, because we're using methods just like this video. There's also another video I've done, which is overcoming depression, but it's from a more behavioral aspect rather than the spiritual aspect. You can take a look at that video as well. But what this does is it gives us a bit of patience, that if we're experiencing depression or we're experiencing a lot of hardships in our life, it gives us a minute to understand, okay, if this is happening, it must be happening for a reason. Again, it's not personal. This universe is not personal. If bad things are happening to you, I can almost guarantee it for you that it's happening for everybody else at different times. They just don't talk about it. So having that acceptance almost makes you stronger to the depression, makes you want to stand up with it and say, okay, I accept that this is happening. I'm going to do my best to change it. I can change my thoughts to a more positive nature. I can fix whatever things from the past that I'm able to fix. And I can take accountability that this depression is caused by myself. Now, I know it's easy to say, well, this person's done this to me, and I understand that, but we're all caught in karmic loops. So even if it is somebody else, it's like a back and forth of energy. Good attracts good and bad attracts bad. If we just go from that concept rather than going on the blame game, because we can blame as long as like a piece of string. We can blame and blame and blame and blame, but we don't get to that point of growth. So I'm not saying that bad things haven't happened to you. I'm sure they have, but there has to come a point where you have to go, stop. I am going to harness my own powers in my life, and I'm going to redirect it for good. And I'm not bothered whose fault what is. I'm taking full responsibility now for my life, and I am going to elevate it. And I'm going to elevate it by going in a more positive direction with my thoughts, my deeds, my actions, my routines. I'm going to do everything that nourishes myself and forgives myself and forgives others around them. I know this is a long process, but it all ties into overcoming the depression. And I'm going to go into a stronger and more positive aspect with life. If something comes my way, if it's hard, I'm going to brave it with a smile. Because what's the alternative? If we crumble, who is going to get us up? People will try, but we're in our own body. We're experiencing our own symptoms. So I really hope that this video gives you strength to stand up to what you're experiencing in your life. Don't give up. Whilst we're alive and we've got the blessing to wake up in the morning and breathe, we have an opportunity to change things. There are plenty of people that have got out of very bad scenarios in terms of health and even abuse. Right now, one lady is coming to mind. Her name is Louise Hay. She has written some books. Heal Your Body is one. Heal Your Mind, I believe, is another one. So you can have a look at Louise Hay. The journey that she went through was really difficult, and she managed to overcome a lot of her difficulties, and she became somebody that is a spiritual teacher and a leader somewhat to this day. She is inspirational and shows that we can get out of very deep difficulties. So I hope this video has inspired you today to stand up and go for a life that you deserve and you want in a more positive nature, and to just reach for more happiness. We love you. Thank you for coming to our channel, and take care. If you like this video, please share and subscribe to our channel, and do take a look at our other videos, which might just help you get unstuck and move to the next chapter of your life, and get everything that you want. Okay, thank you.